first off, I want to appreciate you, Philip, for, jumping on tonight. It's 10 p.m. on your time, but, we have a mission to not only help nurses, okay, make more money, work from home, get fit, get healthy, but we ultimately want to give nurses more opportunities to have freedom with their life, with their family, right, with themselves. So we have some juicy content to jump in today. So
yes, let's go.
yeah. So, Philip, like even for myself, many nurses believe that bedside is the only path, right? That's the conventional path. That's what, our aunties, our family, so what's with the work from home? Like, tell me about that.
Well, I think I should start, how I started in nursing, like very long time ago. Like I said, I think we mentioned earlier, I've been a nurse for about 10 years. I started med-surg and then moved over to CV-ICU for a couple of years and then outpatient PACU. And after 10 years, I, wanted something different, starting a family. And then I learned about working from home, and all I had was that bedside experience and no certifications before I landed my first work from home job. My first work from home job was in utilization review, and now I currently work in utilization management at a big, well-known company, and I've been working from home for about a little over 2 years now, and it's been great. I have the time freedom, the flexibility with my kids and family. Like we were going to do this podcast earlier in the afternoon, but like it's funny because we moved it. The real reason we moved it was my kid was sick in the morning, so I had to like watch him during work, and then I didn't think I could do this podcast and watch my kid and do my work all at the same time. I think that would have been a little too much for me. So then me and Dustin were flexible and like we tried pushing this out at a later time. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I have a lot of flexibility with my family and, and with my side business as well.
And that's where I wanted to start. Isn't that crazy, guys, that Philip is a dad. He's working from home. He's building a business, gets to be there. And that was one of the most amazing things because, if you're working med-surg, just say, you're a parent and you're working at 12 and all of a sudden one of your kids gets sick and not everyone is blessed to have family members or friends to take care of their kids, right? What if you're the only guardian for your kid and they need you and you are in the middle of your shift, or maybe you have to drive far and you can't drive home, right? You're stuck. But the fact that Philip gets to work from home and it's, let's say one of his kids is sick today. Hey, he's right there, right? And that's what we really want to share as far as an opportunity for nurses to still, serve people and impact people, but do it in the comfort of their own home. So Philip, let's start. Let's start. You were working in med-surg. Like, what were some of the things that that were challenging for you not working from home? Like, what are some of these things? I'm sure a lot of nurses can relate to you.
Well, yeah, early in my career, it's, you have the irregular hours, the long shifts, and then, poor healthy habits, like poor eating. We go eat fast food for lunch in the, in the cafeteria. You go home, you're too tired to work out or do anything. And sometimes you have stretches of like 12, 13-hour shifts for like 4 or 5 days straight sometimes. Normal nurses do 3 days a week, but like you could be working like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then that's 4 days. But yeah, it's tough being a nurse doing the 12-hour shifts. And then I knew I wanted a family. I knew that wasn't sustainable when you having a family. There's people, new parents with toddlers, and like they start their work 6:30 in the morning. They probably don't even see their kids, in the morning, and then they get home at like 8 o'clock at night, and by that time their kids already done and already going to bed by that time. And then you do that for like 3 days straight. Your child probably hasn't seen you for 3 days just because you've been working. So that's really tough, and like that's what I didn't want to be, that kind of parent. I wanted to be that parent that was present. I wanted to be there every morning getting them ready for school. I wanted to be there, at night, getting them ready for bed, and then whenever they needed me. And during the weekends, I wanted to be doing all their events, like all their birthday parties. Like tomorrow, Sunday, we got a bunch of birthday parties to do. my 5-year-old, he does golf, so I'm always there. I bring him out there to do golf, and I see my kids every day. They see me every day. Those nurses that work the 312s, it's kind of hard for them to do that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing, Philip. And, I coach and work with a lot of nurses who work 312s, work nights, have 2, 3 kids. And it is a struggle, right? It is a struggle because, they tell me a lot, Dustin, I don't have time to work out. And I get it because look, they work 312s. The last thing they want to do is have to work out because number one, they're exhausted, right? Especially if you work in the ICU, you're an ER nurse. You come home, you haven't seen your partner, you haven't seen your kids for 3 damn days, right?
Correct.
Let alone having to work out.
I always thought that would be like, doing that and having a family, that would be unfair to, yourself. That would be unfair to your spouse and also really unfair to your kid, but I mean, people have to make ends meet but there's other options out there in nursing, other than doing those 312s.
Totally. And I was curious during that time where you were grinding, how were the conversations, with your wife at the time? Because I'm sure you guys were talking about, hey, we want to start a family, but you were working, these long hours. How were those conversations like?
I mean, I planned this ahead. Like when I had the family, I was already working from home and we were already good. But, like I said, I envisioned not, working the things like early on, but yeah. But my wife, on the other hand, she was working the things when we had our first 2 kids. And I think that took a toll on her because there'd be days where we'd have to wake up super early to bring the kids to daycare and then pick them up super late from daycare. Good thing for her. I guess she saw like how my schedule was like, and then she jumped into a non-traditional nursing job. She is a nurse navigator and she has an awesome schedule. She works 4/8 and 4/8 and very flexible, it's a pretty high paying job. Like her schedule is more flexible than my job, but she still works in the hospital. She loves her job and I think she's going to be there for a long time. So like we both have non-traditional jobs, we both put family first.
Wow. And I love that, Philip, because some of the values that we talked about first outside of nursing and kind of what we're doing is that we do want family first. We do want freedom first, and we do prioritize health, right? You threw up a poll not too long ago, right? And you said, what are the things, nurses, what are the things you prioritize most? Can you share with us like what you saw from the nurses that voted from that poll? What did they say they prioritize most? Or what do they care about?
I put 2 options and it was either fitness or health or wealth and finance. And the majority picked fitness and health. Probably because, health is wealth. Like you can't enjoy your money if you don't have like, a healthy habits and good health. But yeah, like my job, when I work out during my lunch breaks. I have 1-hour lunch breaks. I have a garage gym. I mean, a bunch of y'all probably see me working out in the garage gym. I have a squat rack, a bench, and, the necessities you need to stay healthy and work out. Do a quick workout, 1-hour workout.
Yeah. And Philip, as a nurse and a dad, why is it so important for you to prioritize your health? I'm curious. You gotta share with us.
I mean,
nurses are putting their health on the side. You gotta let us know. Why is it important for you as a nurse, entrepreneur, as a dad, as a husband to prioritize your health?
Well, honestly, for me, I feel like I've always been active since, I was like in elementary school. Like in elementary school, I was playing basketball, baseball. And then middle school, I started playing basketball. High school, more basketball and working out. And then college, I was still active in college doing intramural sports and also did some hip hop dancing in college. And then when I, became a nurse, I still prioritized working out. I still played basketball. I still worked out in the gym. So I just think it was just, starting at a young age, I just like being active really. And then like when you take that away from me, like I kind of just feel like in a rut. So like I always need to feel like I need to work out. Like, and then like sometimes the 312s you're inconsistent and, like even if you like work in the hospital, it's hard to find time. Even with like non-traditional jobs, it's hard to find time to work out. But I just found what worked for me. I found that I can work out during my lunch breaks, which is perfect. And I don't have to take, time away from my family to work out because I'm at work.
Totally. And that's one of the beauty things about this is time, right? I think the working from home as a nurse, you get so much flexibility. And, if you're a new nurse, if you're a new nurse you just graduated, you don't have kids, you don't have responsibilities. and you want to go out there, I think it's great, right? But then there comes to a point where I feel like a lot of nurses get to a point where they're grinding in their career. They're climbing up the ropes, right? They're saving lives. But there comes to a point where I talk to a lot of nurses and they're like, wait, why am I doing all of this if I can't even be with what I care about the most, which is my kids, showing up for their basketball practices, for the birthday parties, right? I can't even be present with my kids because I'm so tired. They're at the park. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even run around with them because I'm so fried, right? And so let's kind of jump in on what are some opportunities. I feel like there are some frequently asked questions that's like, all right, working from home, what's the catch, Philip? What's the catch? Do I need these certifications? Am I going to lose my skills? Are people going to look down on me that I left bedside and went to work from home? Am I soft, right? So like, let's talk about some of those things. Let's address that. Let's start there.
Yeah, which one do you want to start with first?
I mean, what certifications? Let's say I'm in med
You don't
surg.
need it. You don't need any certifications. You just need a couple years of bedside experience.
Okay.
And really the most important thing is having an applicant tracking system resume, also known as an ATS resume, when you apply for these jobs, because recruiters are not looking through hundreds and hundreds of applications. They use like AI software to filter out resumes. And if your resume isn't formatted correctly, the bots will toss it out and they'll never get into the eyes of a recruiter. But that's the most important thing, is that applicant tracking system resume and just a couple of years of bedside experience. That's how you really get started for the
That's
most
so
part.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, I think that the main question is, I coach a lot of nurses in California. Nurses in California, they get paid pretty good. I mean, what does compensation look like if you're able to share on some of these opportunities where nurses can work from home? I think that is the main question of like, hey, I'm making my salary, right? I'm getting OT, I'm getting double time. Like what do those numbers look like?
Well, it really depends on your location. But for me, for the most part, I'm making more than what I did at Medside in perspective. Usually, if you want to get a job, if you can land a remote job within like your hospital system, they tend to, match your pay because you're within the same hospital system for these remote jobs, like CDI or utilization management. But like the main thing, it really kind of depends on your location and which companies you are trying to work for.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, like, pay could be similar. Of course, entry level, you will probably be a little less, but in the long run, we always say this, like I've talked to many remote nurses. There's so many remote nurses. Like this is a very competitive area for a reason. And it's not because, they do pay well. I mean, that's why it's so competitive out there. People just think they don't pay well for remote nurses, but it just really depends on, where you get the job and where you will end up in the long run.
I see. So let's talk a little bit. I mean, it is competitive, right? Because it sounds to me like you're getting paid very competitive from a salary standpoint, but you get the freedom of working from home. This sounds like it's almost too good to be true for me, right? So what, let's say for a nurse, what do they need to work on? Let's say they in a year or 2 years, they do want to be working from home. What should they be focusing on? What are those next steps for a nurse to be able to get a work from home opportunity?
Yeah. One of the big things is, I would say, create a LinkedIn account. I mean, many nurses don't use LinkedIn because I think they're kind of spoiled at the hospital system, thinking they can always get a job in the hospital. But when they want to try to get a job, outside of the hospital, they really don't know what they're doing. But yeah, LinkedIn, you have to connect with people, is a very important thing to do, is to connect with people on LinkedIn and people in other departments at your hospital. Also, at your current department, you want to like work on projects and be part of like committees and work on projects for quality improvement within your department. And you want to show that in your resume as well.
Wow. So what you're telling me is that if nurses want to get competitive to achieve a work from home opportunity, sounds like this is just like every other job. They have to network. They have to start getting on LinkedIn. They have to start building their profile. They have to be a high performer at their current role. Is that right, Philip? Where you
For
can't
the
just
most part, yes.
You can't just show up and kind of be under the radar. You kind of have to take those projects. You do have to show up and be that is that nurse. Is that correct?
Correct. Let's see. How many people that's watching right now have a LinkedIn account? Do you have a LinkedIn account, Dustin?
I have a LinkedIn account.
Okay.
Absolutely. So some background about me. I've always been a fitness coach. I've always been a fitness trainer, but I actually worked in marketing. So I climbed the corporate
Well, yeah.
kind of, I did tech marketing. I worked for an agency. So I totally understand what it's like to have to network, to build my resume, to having interviews. You have to be a good you have to speak in order to land jobs and get competitive pay. And that's why I'm so passionate about fitness for nurses, because look, a lot of nurses, Philip, are so burned out. They don't have the self-esteem. They don't have the self-confidence. Yes, fitness, losing weight, all that. But you know what they really get after they go through our program? The confidence and the self-esteem. And you know what I've seen? They get better raises. They start taking projects. They start leveling up because they have the energy. Philip, some nurses don't even have energy to build LinkedIn profile. They're like, oh, more work, right? I'm telling you, man. So like nurses, prioritize your health, because with your health and your self-confidence, you're going to start taking on these projects. You're going to show up. You're going to run around blocks at bedside. And then you connect with Philip. He's going to help you get that work from home opportunity. Now you can freaking deadlift at home and have your 2 kids and still make money and still have the freedom. So,
yes, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool in the remote nursing world. I mean, if you guys have not used LinkedIn, really, to search for jobs, in the search bar, you type nurse and just hit the remote filter, and you can see a whole bunch of companies, a whole bunch of jobs for remote nurses. And then whatever your location you're in, just type in, whatever state you're in, and then put remote nurse, and then you'll find remote jobs within your state. Another good place to look, if you guys haven't tried yet, is your own local hospital's career page. You can go on their search bar on the career page, type in either remote, work from home, and you could probably find a remote job within your hospital system that way.
absolutely.
One thing also I have to say is you always want to apply directly to the company's website. Some people try to hit that easy apply button on the LinkedIn. That does not work very well. So apply directly to the company's career page, everyone.
Absolutely. So just to recap there, build your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you have a decent
Jazzy
profile
Face
picture.
says try the actual company websites. You are right. I need to start reading these comments. I've been missing out on them.
Yeah. Let's see what they're asking. What are some questions on there that we can address?
I need to keep my eye on that. But yeah.
So build your LinkedIn profile, start networking, start taking on projects. What else do nurses do to be competitive?
I mean, those are the
space?
main things, other ways to like get started. You want to do some research. You want to make sure these companies aren't frauds or anything. My favorite place to look up all these things is this Facebook group called Remote Nursing Jobs. It's run by a remote nurse named Sadie. It has about like 200,000 followers. If you go on Facebook right now and join that Facebook group and type in whatever question you want in there, about whatever company, you can probably find an answer in there, or someone will answer for you. But that is probably like one of the most powerful tools when you want to look for the right remote nursing job for you, is that Facebook group. That's what I used to help me find my first remote nursing job. And it helped me, filter out good companies and bad companies.
That's awesome. That's a great resource, man. I'm curious to ask you, Philip, what are, I'm sure you talk to a lot of nurses who reach out to you, who want to work from home. What are some common things that you've seen why nurses aren't able to work from home, or what are some of those things? Because it sounds to me like it's a no-brainer for a lot of people, but I'm curious, what are some common reasons why?
Yeah, I remember you mentioning that to me. You're like, it's a no-brainer, right? Like to you, for someone like you would think it would be a no-brainer, but I think there's just people think they don't have the experience for these jobs, or the knowledge on how to land these jobs is one thing. They think that your bedside experience isn't enough. So I think that's one thing that's holding them back. Let's see what else. Also, people think like when they start applying to these jobs, they think they'll get a phone call right away. No, it's very competitive, and you kind of need to know, where, when, and how to apply for these jobs. It's a very competitive market. And then, people also think that these jobs don't pay well. And, we kind of went over that. Like, it really depends on the company and your location, and your perspective of it as well. I mean, it's a very competitive industry for a reason. We are getting paid well in the remote nursing world, and we are staying there for a very long time. Yeah.
You also shared, Philip, that you said a lot of nurses are afraid to work from home because they're going to not be as fit because they're not walking or moving as much. Is that?
I mean, that's probably like a misconception as well, but you kind of find more time to work out if you work from home. I mean, like during your breaks, during your lunch breaks, there's a lot of time flexibility. There's some downtime. Like, I'll admit I have some downtime. I mean, you guys seen my videos. I'm like playing video games or something, but I mean, there's downtime at the hospital too. So there's downtime at work from home.
Well, you don't have the break room, but I know you're right there next to your fridge. Have you ever found yourself just eating because the fridge is right there, or how do you address that? What are you snacking on?
Man, I snack on like healthy stuff. I'll eat like Greek yogurt and hard-boiled eggs and nuts. That's my snack. I don't really eat much junk food. Yeah. Work from home. You have actual energy to do a lot. Yes, Jazzy Faye, you are right. Please read the comments. Oh, I missed. Can you put that comment, Nargis lady?
Drop your guys' questions in here. Anything about working from home as a nurse, we are here to answer it. And I think the work from home is great because it brings a lot of freedom for nurses to get their health back.
The name of the Facebook group, again, it's Remote Nursing Jobs. It's a pretty awesome forum, really. Like, there's a search bar. You could type in a company name, and then you can see a list of everyone that's talked about that company. Any other questions right now? Well, we move on to the next topic.
What's the most nurse thing that you've ever done during a Zoom meeting?
The most nurse thing? What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Like, because you're doing a lot of Zoom calls, I'm assuming, or?
No, not many, just for meetings.
Really? Okay.
No, I don't do, for my job, I barely do any phone calls. Do most of my work is just, kind of just looking through charts. So I guess I could go over like what I specifically do because I know people are kind of interested about that. But I work in utilization management, and I review for medical necessity specifically for inpatient stays. So I review seeing that if your inpatient stay at the hospital is, medically necessary, so insurance could pay for it. And we always try to approve it. We advocate to approve it. If we don't approve it because the doctor didn't document the right thing in the EMR. And when they don't, we send it to the doctor, and the doctor could do a peer-to-peer, and usually it gets approved for the most part. What kind of jobs are available? Specifically, what is available? Yes, there's plenty. There's telehealth, utilization review, utilization management, case management, CDI. CDI is a very high-paying job. Epic analyst. So if you have Epic experience, you can be an Epic analyst, and that job pays very well. A whole bunch of jobs. Consultants, there's med policy reviewers. I have a job board. You can look on there as well, called NurseRemotely. You can look through there. We also partnered with Kanir. He's here. Kanir's here, helping write AI generated resumes to help you land these jobs. We're going to start working that, and we're going to start advertising that more to help you guys write your resumes. Okay, Kanir said, I have a friend who's a nurse, and the biggest obstacle, oh my gosh, you guys are writing too many questions, this is all I've ever known. Wow. Okay. So they're afraid to take the leap. What would be the best way to support without being too pushy? Afraid to take the...
What is that
That's
question?
That's a good question.
What is the question?
Someone afraid to take the leap because they're too afraid to, jump into remote nursing because they've been a nurse for forever.
That's a great question. Right? I mean, I get it, right? Because let's say it's your main thing. You've been doing it for a while now, right? It feels comfortable. But I think the main thing, since I'm in fitness, I'm a health coach, I help my nurses, get fit and get their health back. It is scary. But you know what's on the other side of scary? Everything that you ever want that we were talking about today, the freedom, right? I don't know if you have kids. I don't know if you have a partner, but think about what you're leaving on the table because you're afraid to take that jump. Right? You're afraid to learn something new. And I encourage all my nurses when they're like, Dustin, I'm afraid to do this fitness thing. I'm afraid to learn how to, I'm like, hey, you've actually gone through every nurse has gone through one of the hardest things, nursing school. The first 6 months of being a nurse, the first year of being a nurse, That's probably the hardest thing. But what happened? Did you die? Did you fall off? No, right? You've gone through it. You figured it out. And so this is just another thing, but we forget that we've done so many hard things and accomplishments up to this point, especially that's why I respect nurses so much, because you guys are bedside nurses. You guys go to war every time you go into shit, making these decisions, right? You're saving, like, things are like just alarm. So the fact that you're doing that every single day, man, this is, if anything, it's easy. Wouldn't you agree, Philip?
I'd agree. I think really he would just have to take the leap and, at least ease into it and like educate himself about like, remote nursing first. I mean,
Absolutely.
you could tell that person, go look through all my posts, and you could probably learn through my posts and even land a job just by looking through my content. But
Yeah.
but back on that, I just want to say, like, he's been a nurse forever. I always say, if you the sooner you can switch to remote nursing, the better. I always say, because it's just going to get more competitive. There's more information coming out there. And then, I mean, it's like the tech industry, like, really. Like, at one point, everyone was getting in. And then now in the tech industry, there's like no entry-level jobs and no one can get a job. I mean, the same thing is going to happen for remote nursing down the line.
Absolutely.
And then, like, for nurses, I always say this, like, at some point in their career or in their life, they're going to have like a bad shift, and, they're going to want to know like what other options are, out there for them. Do they want to, go back to school and spend more money? Do they want to change careers? But now there's also remote nursing for them. And, the sooner they learn about it, I think it'll help them better in the long run.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that you have so much free resources out there, Philip, on your page.
Yeah, man, people been getting jobs just by looking at my content.
Yeah.
Without even buying anything.
If you guys go through Philip's content, the amount of free value that he's giving you guys, if you got, like he said, if you guys go through his content and you read through it and you just do the work, you create your LinkedIn profile, right? Like you follow a couple of steps here, you will be fit. But you know what's crazy, Philip? Because I resonate with you, because I do the same thing on the health and fitness side with nurses, right? I have so much, I would just tell my nurses, if you just listen to all my podcast episodes and you just go through my posts and you literally just implement step by step what I say, you will feel amazing. You're going to lose 15, 20 pounds without buying or about spending a freaking penny. But the thing is, people don't execute, right? People don't execute, and we'll sit here. So a lot of you guys, I'm going to challenge you guys here, and I'm going to keep on going because I'm getting pumped. But if you're a nurse and you resonate with what we're saying, as far as you want the freedom to get your health back, you want to be there, you want to be present for your family, you want to have the energy to not be dead after 312, why not do this, right? Why not get your foot in the door? Because it's going to get competitive, and this is the best time to do it right now. So, yeah.
Correct. Yes, let's go. I listened to a couple of your podcast episodes. They're pretty good.
Really? What was your biggest takeaway so far? I'm curious.
Jeez.
What'd you learn?
I mean, I learned that you're very similar to Mind Pump, and I think like all that stuff is true that you say, really.
Yeah, I
Like,
appreciate it.
Everyone go listen to it. Like, you gotta lift weights to lose weight.
Yes, and women, like especially female nurses, you guys need to lift weights. You guys need to build muscle. It's like insurance for your future life. And I know we're talking about like working from home and career. We always tie back to health, and that's why I love talking to Philip, because like Philip said this just 15 minutes ago. It doesn't matter if you have the career, if you have the title and you make all this money, but if you don't have your health, what is the point? What is the point, right? So you can have both, right, Philip? I think that's the thing that nurses feel like, and they're stuck, is that, okay, if I have my health, that means I won't be able to do my job, or I can't have everything. But that's why I love the working from home opportunity here. You can't have it all as a nurse, which is great. But
All right,
yeah,
let's go through some of these questions here.
Check out Behind the Vision podcast if you guys have
Yeah,
it.
that's pretty good. Let's see. I work
what
from
are some
home. I
questions?
work as inpatient case manager, and I'm busy all day with phone calls, rounds, and documentation. Yes, case management is a lot of phone calls. That's why I do not work in case management. You can easily transition to probably utilization management, which is less phone calls, which is what I do. Let's see. Zach Grizz says, or CDI. CDI pays more in the long run. It has a higher ceiling than you. That's where I'm at. I'll probably stay in UM for a little bit. But CDI, your hospital system probably has a CDI position. It could be hybrid. It could be fully remote, or it could be, on site. Very high pay ceiling. They like people with ICU experience. What is this? I think it costs $250. What costs $250? I'm like looking at the recent comments here.
Okay.
Let's see. Or maybe not there.
What's up, Thomas?
Do you need certifications? Oh, you just need bedside experience. What are the titles for LPNs? Okay, there's they can work in telehealth, they can work in utilization review, and they can work in some utilization management jobs. I'm behind here. Resume for work from home, please. I have a couple guides in the link in my bio for resumes. And also, we're partnering with Kanir. They're gonna, write your resume for you. Easy. Like through AI, they can tailor it exactly to the job description. So look at Kanir. Is he still here? He probably left. Say something. What other questions did I miss? Do you see any questions up there?
See, mine is pretty laggy. I'm not seeing it load. I just see people joining.
Let's see. I had an interview last week. They said the pay is $22 for LPN. That's pretty low. I don't know your location. I mean, maybe some people would think that's okay just to get their foot in the door, but yeah, that's pretty low. Okay. Where is Kanir? I should type it in here. Oh, there he is. He said that he's right above you. Kanir, Arizona. Yeah, I don't know what the pay is in Arizona. Any recommendations for a CDI interview? Ooh, yeah, you got to do the STAR method. I have a guide in the link in my bio. The STAR method, you have to answer S stands for situation, B task, A action, and R result. You have to answer it in that format. What's his IG handle? He's down there. Okay, you want to move on to the next thing before like a whole bunch of other questions pop in?
It's all it's all good. What should we hit on? I've been hitting you with a couple questions.
Oh, let's see, everyone wants to talk about remote nursing. Yeah. So I don't know if there any questions I'm missing. Let me look through my phone real quick. I'm trying to think what questions we had on that question thing we posted. Someone asked if we could work internationally, travel when you work. For most jobs, yes, you can travel within the States, but it's kind of depends on your job and your manager. It's kind of job specific, but just let your manager know you're traveling, and they should be okay with it for most jobs. And if you can like bring the equipment with you, like my brother-in-law, he works in telehealth and he lives in Georgia, and sometimes he'll travel down here to Florida, and he's able to work from home in his telehealth job over here. And I'm able to probably work wherever too if I needed to. I just probably need an extra screen. Internationally, so for people that work international, you cannot work in the US if you can only work for US companies if you're in the US. So whatever country you're in, you have to find a company within your country unless the job description says otherwise. Yeah, I think that's it for the most part on that. What else is here? Can they track if you have a VPN? I think some companies can. I'll tell you guys a funny story. I tried doing this. I tried working in Canada. I got in trouble, and yeah, so don't do it.
Don't work outside the country.
Correct.
That's a great tip. What are you drinking there? Are you having a cocktail? What are you drinking?
Yeah, I have a vodka. It's Friday.
Show us. So show us the cocktail.
I have to chug it later, but it's vodka.
What's in it? So vodka and what?
I think lemonade or something.
Lemonade? Dang, is that your go-to cocktail?
For now, yeah. Recently.
Man,
it's easy to make.
Out. Yeah, check that out, y'all. Like, you can work from home, sip on a nice little
no, you can't.
cocktail. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just
10
kidding.
out of 10 don't recommend.
Don't recommend. We won't. That's off the air. No, I'm just kidding. You guys gotta be healthy and drink your water.
Let's see, what else could we talk about?
Man, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk.
How do you cater your resume to ATS? What was the STAR method?
Check this link in the bio.
The STAR method is just a way to do your interviews. You have to answer the questions in a certain format. I don't really want to go too in depth with it right now, but S would stand for situation. You'd explain the situation. T for task. You explain what the task is going to be. Action, what action you had to do. And R was a positive result. And then you kind of you use that format to answer like every question. Like if they ask you what conflict you've had with a coworker, you go through that format. How do you cater resume to ATS? It's not catering it to ATS. The ATS is just a format. ATS is just a simple format, just no pictures on your resume, just simple spacing and nothing too fancy, but you want to cater it to the job description. You kind of like, it's kind of like a matching word game. You kind of have to like match the words onto the resume. Like Connier had just put out a video of it, kind of explaining how it's done. What does ATS mean? Applicant tracking system. Do you know what applicant tracking system is, Dustin?
I have no idea. That's the
Okay.
first time I've heard that.
Okay. I don't think your industry needs that then.
No. Okay, cool. Well, like, dude, let's kind of wrap it up with some fun health and fitness stuff if you're down. And
Yeah.
we can always kind of wrap this up. I think this was great. But man, I'm curious because you've been a nurse, you used to work, in bedside. Like I was curious, what was some of the biggest health challenges you face as a nurse?
While working bedside,
Yeah.
probably just the consistency. I think that was the main thing for me was being like inconsistent. Like, like when you want to split out your workouts, you do like, chest, legs, back, buys.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll miss that chest day, and then like for a whole week, you're not gonna hit chest, and then you're all lopsided. And I don't. That was one thing for me. I just wasn't consistent enough, like in my workouts or in my diet in terms of fitness. But
Yeah.
now I'm doing better.
That's tough, man. I mean, yeah, you definitely have the freedom and the flexibility now. I mean, what's one thing you wish, you hadn't known about staying healthy before becoming a nurse? Or what do you like? What are some of the nurses that are in the field right now? They're new. What advice do you have for them when it comes to staying healthy and fit?
I would say you want to, stay consistent and do something that's sustainable for you for a long time, like forever. And like, don't expect too much at first. And like, don't set the bar too high at first. Just do, little things at a time. Kind of want to just move the needle and sustain this health for a long time and do what really works for you. But like you said, you gotta lift weights. You can't just do cardio.
Yeah. I see so many nurses, right? They try to do cardio to lose weight, but man, I think nurses definitely need to lift weights, and it's actually better for them too. They're transferring patients and stuff, right? I mean, there's a stat that like over 60% of nurses burn out or they injure themselves too. Did you see that while you were
Oh yeah, all
working?
the time. I think people crying in the supply room, and yeah, it's rough out there, man. I've seen people, get assaulted, and it's true. Like all that stuff you hear on the news, I've seen it.
Dude, that's crazy to me, and I'm glad so much light is shined on, the not only the emotional abuse but the physical abuse that nurses are dealing with, and why is the healthcare system? Why has this never been the talk? Apparently this has been going on for like as long as we've known, and you've seen it firsthand. I mean, why does no one talk about it?
Talk about what?
All the abuse that.
I mean, it's all over the news. The thing is that, the healthcare system isn't going to do anything about it. I mean, they say, like, tell them to put metal detectors and stuff and provide safety for nurses. But, I don't think the healthcare system really cares about our nurses. And it's really, your own responsibility kind of to take care of yourself. And yeah, because I don't think like the healthcare system just doesn't care about nurses.
Absolutely.
Let's see. How about vacation time? How hard, easy to request time off? It is very similar to working at the hospital. I know different companies do different things where they want to have only like a couple of nurses off during the same day. So it's kind of as similar as, requesting vacation, at your hospital job, or requesting vacation for any corporate job. But it's similar to bedside. Pretty much. I mean, you get a good amount of PTOs during the year.
Totally. That's awesome. Any last minute questions before we wrap up this live session? I think this was great. We answered a lot.
People working from home is not a real job, but I need a remote job. That's funny. No comment.
Okay. No comment on that. All right. Well, where can the people go, Philip? Where can
Yeah.
if they want to learn more?
They can go on my Instagram. My Instagram is my main account. It's wfh.nurse.life on Instagram. Have all the resources there. Have referrals for, great resume writers you can reach out to. Let's see. Yeah. I also collaborating with a couple of people like Connier, another company. If anyone's interested in farm sales or med device sales, I have a discount code for that. Check it out in the link in my bio. Are you saving this live? We're saving this live, right?
Yes. So you'll get the replay link. Hit one of us up. I'll have the recording link. So just send me a message, DM me work from home nurse, and I'll send over that link for you. So usually what happens after these recordings, it takes like, whatever, 10 minutes, depending on how long, we'll have a link and we'll just share it over to you. So you'll get the recording. I think Philip dropped a good amount of value in here with, LinkedIn resume, which is great. Yeah, we'll drop that to you guys. Philip, I want to say I appreciate your time, and I love what you're doing, all the value you're giving. This was great. So yeah.
Thank you for having me. We got to do this again. I enjoy doing these, actually.
Yeah, and I wanted, and I'll kind of wrap this up. For those who don't know me, I'm the CEO of Team VP Fit. We help nurses get their health back, restore their metabolism, right? So that way they can have the freedom to be with their kids, be with their family, and honestly, land that next role, get that next job, right? And so we're on that mission. And not only just with fitness, I want to continue to be a resource hub for nurses, not just from a health standpoint, but from a career path, more opportunities, financial literacy. We want to do all of that. Yeah, appreciate you being part of the vision, Philip. Let's continue to do this. Let's continue to serve. And yeah, let's keep it going.
Yeah, man, let me know when you want to do this again. Also, I know I got a bunch of other questions from my story post, so
Okay.
I will, I'll answer them on my Instagram if I didn't get to answer it on here.
Sounds good. All right. We'll see y'all. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yes, thank you.